Am I the a-hole for taking in my ex's dogs but not my homeless ex? Plus update. Original post. My wife left me and our kids a couple of years ago. She wanted a different life than what we had. She bought a converted van and tried to become a van life influencer. She got some followers, but not as many as it takes to be able to live off of it, I guess. She is in the city right now and her van needs repairs. We are in the middle of a heat wave and she needs a place to stay for a week or two. This is the only second time in 2 years she has bothered to see our kids. I have done my best to make sure that they know that even though their mom is gone, it isn't because she doesn't love them. I said she was working far away. Even after the divorce, I made sure she could have all the visitation she wanted. She doesn't want to stay with her parents because they are very critical of her choice to leave. She doesn't want to stay in a hotel because it will be a dent in her budget. I don't want her in my house because I don't want the kids to freak out when she leaves again. It's best if they see her in a neutral location. I volunteered to take her dog so she could stay at a hostel. She said I was an a-hole for not letting her stay in a house she helped pay for. I bought out her equity when we divorced. It wasn't that much. My parents said I should have let her stay. The woman I'm seeing said that she would have understood if I let her stay. I just know what it would do to my kids. Edit. Please stop messaging me for information on my ex. I won't say more than I have. I don't want anyone messing with her livelihood. I won't tell you what her handle is or what kind of dogs she has. I have a good life without her and my kids are doing okay. Thank you all for your concern. Now for the top comments before the update a year later. Not the a-hole. You're being the best parent you can. She's abandoned her children and she has no right to impose on them and you. She's not there to see them. She needs a cheap place to crash. It might be traumatic for your kids to have her leave again, and that just isn't worth it, for you or for them. You bought her out, and she's used that equity to pursue her new life. She doesn't want to stay with her critical parents? Too bad. Dent her budget? Then where's the child support? Ask your mother to speak to your ex-in-laws or your mother can offer to host her. She's not there to see them, she needs a cheap place to crash. You summed it up perfectly. She's only in the same city because her van needs repairs. It's not like she made a special trip just to see the kids. It's only about convenience and not having to spend any money since she obviously doesn't care about her kids if she hasn't bothered to see them for 2 freaking years. Ding ding ding! Truth be told, the mother could have had the van repaired anywhere, but that would have hurt her bottom line more. And the difference in driving to the home city versus a hotel would have seen driving home win on costs. You're doing the right thing for your kids, Opie. You're not the a-hole at all, but your ex certainly is. Well, if it isn't the consequences of her own actions knocking at her door. For some reason, I've exactly zero sympathy for wannabe influencers/grifters. Not the a-hole. I mean, if she was just an influencer, I would probably feel kinda bad it didn't pan out for her. But the fact that she's a deadbeat makes me lose all my sympathy for her. Leaving her family aside, van life influencer sounds like one of the worst kind of influencers in my humble opinion. Even if I were single and for some type of crazy reason wanted to be an influencer, I cannot imagine not having decent access to a bathroom, shower, good mattress, etc. Maybe I'm old and boring at this point in my life, but yikes. If I had to be an influencer now, no one would follow me because it would be like, so these are my houseplants and this is my cupboard of ibuprofen. Now for the update 1 year later. My ex left me to pick up the pieces after she decided to try and be a van life influencer. I was devastated, but our kids were destroyed. Last year, she barreled back into our lives because her van needed work and she needed a place to stay. I did not want her in my house with my kids. She refused to stay with her parents, and because she had 2 dogs, a hotel would have been expensive. My parents, my girlfriend at a time, and several old friends said I should help her out. So I took on her dogs so she could stay at a hostel. That worked out great, because she met another nomad there. After her van was fixed, they departed together. I thank Christ every day I don't let her back into my kids' life so intrusively. It was so much easier to explain that she was just gone again than to let them watch her leave. The one good thing she did was abandon her dogs. I told her to come get them, but she said her new boyfriend was allergic, so I should keep them for her. I almost took the dogs to a shelter. Instead, I took them to a vet and registered them in my city. Now they are my dogs. Well, to be honest, they are my kids and my girlfriend's dogs. The dogs love them and tolerate me. My ex is in town again. Great mom hasn't bothered seeing her kids since last summer, but she wants her dogs back. I said no. I said she left them behind like trash, like she leaves everything. So they are mine now. She made noises about suing me. I told her to go ahead. I would love to take this public. I'm sure her followers would love to know where her dogs were for a year and why. She saw the kids for an afternoon and she tried to get them to yell at me to give her back the dogs. My kids are a little older now and see through her BS better. They said no. She is going a little crazy now, and the breeder she got the dogs from won't sell her more since she abandoned the last two. She says that I'm trying to derail her career, and that I'm a jealous a-hole that never tried to love my dreams like she is. I told her that my dreams have never changed. To raise my kids with a woman who loved me and our children. To have a life together and see it through. I said my dreams are coming together now that she has taken herself out. She did pay a lot for the dogs, but she abandoned them in my opinion. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She can't pick up and drop people or pets as and when she pleases. It says something loudly that she tried to purchase more pups. It's not about her missing or loving your dogs. It's the image she wants to portray of herself as having dogs, rolling around in her van taking meaningless videos and photos for strangers to mildly give a care about. She should invest more of her energy in her children, instead of bending your ear over her own poor life choices. I'm glad you've met your girlfriend. She seems to have a positive influence on your life. All the best to your family. I bet the lack of cute dogs has lost her followers. What a vile person. Holy crap. I remember your other post. You never answered any questions or updated. Not the a-hole. Your ex is kind of a monster though. Keep your kids and your dogs safe from her. Part of the reason for this post is so that if she says anything, I have a platform to publish her Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok so her followers can know what she is really like. You should go ahead and do it just for kicks. Screw her career. If she has abandoned her children as well as her dogs with you and you don't want her in your life anymore, just block her from contacting you in any way. As you said, the kids are older and they don't agree with their biological mother anymore. It's time to close that chapter of your life and move on with your new life you made. If your kids ever want to contact her, I'm sure you would provide those details for them if the need ever arose. Sounds like you have made a massive change in the last few years and you all deserve happiness. Next story. Am I the a-hole for considering ending my engagement because my fiancé wants to sell our house to fund his new business while I'm pregnant and the sole breadwinner? I, 29 female, am engaged to Adam, 27 male. We have been together for 4 years, and when we met, we held the same job title at different companies. We earned about the same, and then a few months into our relationship, Adam started a business. The business took off and Adam went part-time and I worked nights to help the business. After COVID, demand fell, and a few bad decisions later, Adam was in debt. Adam had to sell the business to cover himself, and he got a loan from his parents. In this time, I paid our bills for a few months and we had cutbacks, and at one point, it was bad enough that we might have had to move in with his brother. At the height of the business, he earned more than me, and we were able to get a good mortgage for a house we wouldn't be able to afford if we had just kept our jobs. Adam got his old job back and a slight raise after selling the business. I have been promoted, and then at the start of the year, got a massive pay raise into a management position at my company. It was down to luck. My boss was leaving and she recommended me for the role, although it would have taken me a few more years to get this position anywhere else. I found out I was pregnant, and since telling him, everything has changed. We have discussed kids in the past and that I would be a stay-at-home mom, but right now I earn nearly 2.5 times more, so it doesn't make sense for me to quit. Adam said he thought before us having a baby, he would have wanted his business to take off. We had a fight, as this is the absolute worst time to start a business. It hasn't been a month since he's paid off his parents. But he showed me his new business plans that will be funded by selling our house and downsizing. This time he insists it will take off and has learned from old mistakes. And it's a solid plan in my opinion, and I would have supported him if I wasn't pregnant. We have no savings for the baby, and no backup plan if the business fails and we'll have to sell our house. And Adam would need to earn my salary for us to ever be able to afford our now mortgage rate. I don't want to sell, but Adam says we wouldn't have even able to get the house in the first place without him. I can't believe Adam is being selfish and wants to quit his old job and start a business right now. I hate my new job, which Adam knows as management is very different and I want my old job back. But for the baby, I am keeping my job and making a sacrifice. And Adam just needs to keep his job and maybe revisit the business idea in the future. I just don't know what to do and I haven't told anyone else about the baby. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. First off, with interest rates and home prices so high, you probably would not be saving much by downsizing. Secondly, there is a baby on the way. He needs to work and save money to start his venture in the future, not endangering your financial security. I hate to say it, but it may be time to downsize your relationship. Adam sounds like a selfish tool. Good luck. To me, starting a business falls into two categories. You do it when you have no obligations and can live on a shoestring. So if the business is your only income, you can make it work. And if it fails, it only impacts you. Or you do it while working a full-time job because you need the income to support your life. Fiancé can't afford to start a business right now and not also work a traditional job. For a variety of reasons, including what happens if OP has to go on bed rest and can't work, or if the worst happens and something happens to OP. They have no emergency fund, no coverage for the what-ifs. And that's before we get to the problems associated with looking at your home as an asset that you can use for things like helping fund your business. If fiancé was arguing about decreasing monthly costs as they were having a baby and are going to have childcare costs, maybe. But that doesn't sound like the situation. My husband has worked in and around a lot of startups. Most of the business founders have independent wealth, either inherited or they previously worked in finance and have a solid investment portfolio that they can live off, as a cushion to fall back on if the startup fails. And the vast majority of startups do fail. The only people I've known who started a business without independent wealth, they saved up the equivalent of a year's wages before they went out on their own. True, I had the equivalent of a year's wages when I quit my day job and started living exclusively from the money I could earn from my own business. I also make sure to always have about a year's wages in my buffer account. I can never go below. I'm a homeowner, and I don't trust the bank to lend me money if my house needs some work done. Last story. Would I be the a-hole if I gave my wife an ultimatum I'm sure she will fail? My 32 male wife, 30 female, has had anger issues our entire relationship. Together 6 years, married for 3 of them. We have talked about kids. I want them. She is not ready yet. We both use protection until we're both ready. I admit, at the start of our relationship, I thought, I can change her, / my love can change her. Weekly she would scream, cursing me, calling me an a-hole, bitch, dick, the C-word and more, or combinations thereof. Never hitting me directly, but still acting aggressively. She has blocked me from leaving the room when she was treating me poorly, held on to me by the shirt collar, and pulled me close to yell in my face. Has hit walls and doors, and tried to break down doors if I tried to separate myself to calm down. She always had an excuse as to why her treatment of me was okay. Usually, I was the problem or her job was. When she settles down, she gets remorseful for a few days to a week, but inevitably goes back to screaming and name-calling. A year after we got married, she asked to quit her job and just take care of me in the house. She claimed this would give her time to work on herself more, since she wouldn't be dealing with the stressful work environment she had been in, call center, and wouldn't be as angry. I, ever hopeful, said yes, since I could afford it and saw benefits of her handling most of the house cleaning duties. Her treatment of me continued despite her not working. I never instigated these events, but as they've progressed over the years, I am ashamed to say I have retaliated in kind. I have yelled back and called her similar names, maybe hoping she'd realize how hurtful it is. I have expressed to her many times that the way she treated me was not okay. The way I respond to her treatment of me is not how I want to be, and I didn't want to live like this. She has attended a handful of therapy sessions and sometimes shows promise for change. We also attended a few sessions of couples counseling, although it was ineffective and I canceled future appointments after a rather nasty fight she started, deciding it wasn't worth the cost. I recently had surgery in my foot and wasn't able to do much. I asked her to bring in the grocery delivery later in the day, as she had agreed to do when we placed the order. She went off on me saying that she shouldn't have to do it. She just wants to sit and watch TV. that she never gets a chance to relax, though I had been trying hard to be self-sufficient as much as possible. She screamed at me for an hour, and I just sat there and took it, too tired and medicated to do much more. She did eventually bring in the order. I've realized that there is a good chance she will never completely change, or at least not change significantly within the next few years, and that I don't want to spend even another year with her as she is now. How can I trust she won't blow up at me again and need her support? I want to file for divorce but feel as though I need to give her one more chance before I go through with it. I'm also honestly nervous as to how she will respond when/if I do, whether it be anger or despair and her trying to end herself, as she has attempted previously when I try to break it off with her. Would I be the a-hole to give her an ultimatum I'm sure she would fail, stop screaming at me and calling me names, or I'll file for divorce? Just because the abuse is happening to you doesn't mean you deserve for it to be happening. It's time to leave, friend. Make 2 calls. The first is to the National DV hotline and tell them you need to leave your abusive spouse. They'll give you guidance. The second call you make is to a divorce attorney. Follow the instructions of the experts. If you're sure she would fail, which sounds correct, what would be the point of an ultimatum? She's a bad partner, actually abusive. If the genders were reversed, would asking the female partner of a mentally and physically abusive man to give him another chance seem reasonable? I was about to say the same. A woman posting about a male partner who acted this way would be told in no uncertain terms that he's an abuser, she's not safe, and she should leave ASAP. The woman here is just as much of an abuser as the one in my hypothetical situation. She's abusive, doubly so when OP is medically impaired by recent surgery. I mean, she could have taken a few minutes to just bring the groceries in. But no, first she had to scream at OP for over an hour, and then bring the groceries in anyway. For someone who claims she's tired and doesn't get to relax, she sure wastes a lot of energy throwing tantrums for over an hour. OP, get your financial ducks in a row. Speak to an attorney. People only change when they want to, not when people who love them want them to. Because he's looking for her to make the decision for him. If he makes an ultimatum and she fails, then she's the reason they broke up. But if he asks for divorce, then he's the reason they broke up. It's messed up, but his self-esteem has been eroded, so he's looking for an out. My brother was in a similar situation. His ex-wife was horribly abusive and he dealt with it for years. Eventually, she cheated on him and then kicked him out. If it hadn't been for that, who knows how long he would have stayed.